Hello, coaches. Welcome back to Football Talk with Coach Chip, right here on the Coach Chip channel on YouTube. This is the Larry Zonka episode, and appropriately, old number 39, dedicating the show to him. We're going to talk about one-back power of football. Now, you may not think of the power play when you think about Zonk, if you're old as me and remember when he used to run over people for a living down in South Florida. But he sure would have loved to have run it, I can promise you that. Used to, it was BYOB, where old Zonk, be your own blocker. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, A-gap or one-back power, episode number 39. Let's don't forget our sponsors. You've got Johnny's New York style pizza over in West Point. Right there off the interstate in West Point, Georgia. Got Johnny Bucket's podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Johnny Bucket's podcast with Thrift Behringer. They've had some really good ones lately. They just had a good one the other day with Josh Pate from 247 Sports. And let's not forget the best real estate agent in all of West Georgia. It's Tammy Pierce Real Estate. Live, serve, work, play. PineMountainGeorgiaLiving.com. You want to buy property or sell property in West Georgia? We're talking about Harris County, Troup County, Meriwether County, Muskogee County, Talbot County. Give Tammy a call. Pine Mountain's own and Harris County's own, born and raised right here in West Georgia. All right, coaches, here we go. The first one we're going to look at right here, the one-back power out of a 2x2 set. And I really got turned on to this several years ago. And I always just called it a gut. That's what we called it when we were wing teeing it. We called it a gut because of this wrap block right here. And I noticed Baylor doing it a lot several years ago, getting in wide splits and really wide splits with their receivers. A lot of folks call those Baylor splits now. And just gashing people. And many of y'all remember that bowl game where they didn't even have a quarterback. And they just put a running back there and ran a bunch of short passing game. But got in those wide splits and did this right here. Now what we do, the tackles always block the end man on the line of scrimmage, both tackles. That way you don't get any closing in like this. But now you can change it up and do your read on it. And you can set this thing, you can put him in pistol, or you can put him on same side. And ever how you want to do it, it just changes your read. Either on your run read, what end you read, or on your RPO read, what backer you're going to read. Okay, so what we always do, we're going to block the end man on the line of scrimmage with the tackles. All right, if they're in a split front, we're just going to man fan these jokers inside. A play side guard is going to drive the 2 or the 3. Okay, if he's got a gap defender, he'll drive him. He's pretty much got first man on his side of the football. All right, the center has the nose. He'll block man, back. So this is power right, A-gap power right. And so he'll take the nose. If the nose is shady, he'll block back. If he's in a 2-eye over here, he'll block back on that. And the backside guard will skip pull, tight skip pull, scraping paint off of that center's back block and climb right here to the Mike backer. Of course, we don't have enough to block 6. We've only got 5 blocking 6, and so you need to RPO the backside linebacker. And we talked about that in the previous episode, some of the ones I made for the fans. If you want to look at how our rules for blocking RPO is a good video, video 37 and what I call 37.5. And you can see how we determine who we're going to read on RPOs. Now, like I said, you can change this if you don't have necessarily a great throwing quarterback or for some reason because of where the DNs play or the linebackers play. Like if you know those linebackers screaming right in here when he sees that pull, and you know that end is going to squeeze if your tackle down blocks to the backer, and you want your quarterback to keep it, you can do a read where you read the end right here, and if he squeezes, okay, the quarterback disconnect and run right here, just with a tag. And of course, you can do it that way as your default way of doing it, and make the RPO your tag. Okay. But now they're going to give you a 6-man box versus 2x2. This to me these are the only two ways to attack it. Either read the backside in or read the backside inside linebacker. And there's a few other ways to do it. We can do it a little bit different. And I'll show you later on as we go. Now right here's how we'll block the one back A-gap power versus an odd front. I like to double team the nose. Some of y'all that have watched all the videos know that, I'm going to take the best center, the best snapper, and put him there. And in the high school level, especially small schools, you're not always blessed with your best center also being an outstanding blocker. And of course, you want him worried about making sure it's a perfect snap. If you're going to run RPOs or run reads, you really need that snap to be in this area. You give him a strike zone. It's got to be in there because it really messes up the timing. Of course, y'all know I like to run the jet in the past. And of course, that quarterback doesn't need to be looking all over for the snap. And so you're trying to get your best guy. So we try to do things. If you're going to do that, you need to try to make sure you're helping that center. And of course, it's a 3-3. And what you do is to try to force them to break the box, is what I call it. You can go trips. And I'll show you how to block it, how we block it in the past if they don't break the stack. There's a lot of coaches that are really stubborn. They're going to go through. And now I know we were a 3-3 team for years, and it depended from week to week. If we felt like we could stop the run and break the stack, we would. And if we felt like we needed to, they were just spreading us out. They really couldn't throw it. They were trying to spread us out so they could gash us by weakening the box, then we wouldn't, no matter what they did. I mean, they could go empty, and we wouldn't. We just match up with them jokers on the perimeter. But it was a game-by-game thing, and so it depends on who you're playing. If they'll break the box, you can do this out of trips, and you notice you still don't need, it's still a one-back power. All right, you're getting a double team on the nose. You don't need to do a combo because you're reading that backside linebacker. This time it's the Mike. Okay, you see I got him shaded in blue. But everybody else is blocking basically the same. Notice the tackles are still blocking the ends. Okay, notice the backside guard still wrapping to the guard on the play side, to the linebacker on the play side. And the only thing different is you're doubling the nose. Okay, and again, I don't teach them to combo it because if that mic is flowing with the pulling guard, we'll disconnect. Okay, and we like doing this out here, this window dressing right here. Now we'll throw this joker in a heartbeat. Okay, if they don't want to go with him. But this guy right here, he may not run with him, but he is definitely not going to fall back inside. Okay, if you give him that bubble right there. And of course you got your backside slant, your backside under, just like you do on all the other RPOs that you've seen us do. But this is just a really good way of running the football without anybody in there to lead block. Dang, how did I move that nose all the way down there? He was offsides. All right, so you're playing a 3-3 stack, 3-5 stack, 5-3, whatever you want to call it. And it's one of those teams, they're not going to break the stack. They're going to give you a 6-man box no matter what you do. Something's got to give. And one of the things you can do is take your H and put him right here in the sniffer position and now turn it into a power ISO. And notice, I got Deuce written here. It's a double team. And I'm going to show you something later that is kind of like the poor man's duo that we've been doing for years that I learned from a guy up in Tennessee, Wes Elrod, back in the early 2000s. But the Deuce block right here, that's a double team. Again, it's not a combo. It's not a chip. He is staying. They're going to stay with that double team. No need to come off because if the mic comes here, he's taking himself out of the play because we're going to hit this thing wide open. Okay? The back is going to hit that thing wide open. His aiming point, he's a little wide right here, that's the way I drew him up. But it's hard to get the program to put them real close together, the lines. He needs his aiming point on all these needs to be the play side heel of the center. The play side heel of the center. I left that out earlier. Now this time, again, the reason we don't have to chip or combo is because we're reading that backside wheel right here. Don't y'all love the way I point at the screen like you can see what I'm pointing to? Yeah. Old coach problems. So we're going to read him. If he runs with that, then we can throw it right here. Okay? So all you got to do is bring your H in the box. Okay? Because something's got to give. If they're going to be stubborn and they're going to keep the box solid and keep it strong with 6, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Now, if you got a quarterback that can throw it, you get in 2-by-2 and see what they can do. See how good those outside linebackers are when you run 4 verts or any other type of four-man route, and with that one high safety back there behind it. Of course, now what we're saying is, remember, we're talking small school ball where you can't control the quality of your athletes every year. Some years you're going to have a kid that can sling it a little bit, and some years you're going to have a line that can just knock people off the ball. And unless we've talked about this before, unless you're cheating, you can't control the kids that come on that football field, the kids enrolled in your school. So what you need to do is figure out ways to run your plays. Okay, and this is one way to do it. Everything, notice it's blocked basically the same. You play side tackles, going to dig out that end if he's in a 4-eye. And if he can't dig him out, just drive his butt right through here, use this against him, and we'll bounce that thing out here. But you got to find ways, not plays. And notice I'm not frigging around with the line blocking right here. Okay. All right, same play, back to an even front. But let's say this time they got a 3 technique that is a dude. He is a dude. And you need to double him. Or you get whatever your call is for a double team. You double that joker and you hit that thing hard, tight to this A gap right here. And you look, same rules that we used a while ago. You just make a call between your guard and your tackle right here. And let that tackle know, and of course the H needs to know too, because he comes now from being out here. He knows he has to come in here. And whatever the call is between these two, the H has to know now he's going to J block just like he would on the traditional power play. All right. Now you can also leave your H out here, okay, and read that end. You can do that too. If you can't block him, read him. As the old saying goes, you can't block him, read him. You can't read him, trap him, kick him. So notice we're still blocking the same. Center's blocking back on the nose. The guard's still driving the 3 tech, but now he's getting help from your tackle. Your backside tackle still driving the end man. Quarterback still reading the wheel backer. And this is the kind of thing that I stress all the time. You're changing like 1 or 2 guys, but everybody else is staying the same. And this is how you can run a very multiple, flexible offense and have an attack that can vary from week to week with just subtle little moves, because all you're doing is teaching each kid on the field 4 or 5 skills. All right, and all you have to do is you mix and match those skills, okay, to get what you need, to make the play what you want to do. Again, find ways, not plays. Something I have been talking about. Notice over here we've always had this little quick thing right here. This little now pass. All right, that's always there in case this guy wants to come in here. We can't block him. We can't account for him. And that's an extra man that can bring in the box, whether it's an odd front or an even front. If this guy's way in here and this corner is way back, like a lot of them are, okay, especially when they're one-on-one, unless they're really gifted, you could always have this option right here. It's a little access throw. If they're giving it to you, take it until they have to bump this joker out, okay? And now he can't be nosy and fall into the box and make plays. And you still got everything just like you had it before. And again, like I said, don't get caught up in, oh, it's better if you run out of pistol, or it's better if you run out of the same side. That's fine. Just move him over. Again, I don't care what you do. Like I was telling a friend of mine years ago, we were co-coordinators, and he said, can we do that, coach? And I said, I don't care what you do back there. I said, if you can teach those backs to do it, and you're not messing around with the O-line and what we're doing up front, we can do it. I always tell them, don't frig around with my linemen, and we're in good shape. And I heard another coach say this years ago, said, the backs are going to figure it out. You make changes in the backfield, they're going to figure it out. Why? Because they got a chance to run the football. Very rarely will a back mess up, or a receiver, if they know they got a chance to get the football and get their shine. All right? So you can do different things back here. You can move him over here to pistol. You can move him same side and still run the same thing. Remember, aim and point, play side heel of the center, regardless of the front. All right, as I told you earlier, I was going to show you a way to a kind of a poor man's duo. And if you know duo and all this, there's nothing like it. That's fine. But when I first heard of duo a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like, what is this? What is this? What is this? And I heard some guys talking about it on podcasts. And the Run the Power guys had a guest on there a while back, did a really good job. I believe it was the BYU O-line coach, explaining what it was. A good friend of mine that I used to coach with years ago when I was the OC down in South Alabama, and the two of us coached O-line together. He became a head coach at a small school down there, and he recently got a job at a bigger school as the O-line coach. And we did a Zoom several weeks ago, and he was telling me about the duo, and I was asking questions based on what I'd learned. And I'm no duo expert by any stretch. And it kind of occurred to me, I asked him, I said, you remember when Wes Elrod, when we were still wing teeing it, came down out of Tennessee, we paid him to come down, and he clinicked our entire staff on his version of wing tee. He was a Herschel Moore disciple, kind of like Roger Holmes over at Dublin in the middle of Georgia. And he taught us the doo-doo is what he called it. And the reason he called it doo-doo, it was a double-double team. So a double deuce. And he said the kids will never miss the call. He said you call doo-doo, and it means you got 2 double teams at the point of attack. And it works really well versus an even front. You can do it versus an odd front. You double team the end and you double team the nose. But it's just great against an even front. Now, it's not necessarily going to be great on the goal line when teams get into a goal line defense and give you double A gaps. And that's going to be a little tougher. Or, or double twos and they're pinching and things like that. But in the middle of the field, if you're in a 3rd and short, you just call your one-back power. You got to bring your H in the box to make the doo-doo work. And even though they got a 6-man box, and you say, well, you're bringing the tight end in, coach. And right now, that's going to bring this guy to the party. But if you're running this now, it's short yardage. You don't need much. What you got to do is block those cats at the point of attack. All right, if this guy falls in and makes the tackle in here, you've gotten 3-4 yards. I don't do this on 3rd and 6 now. I mean, it's situational football. But you bring an extra guy in the game. You take your wide receiver guy out, put you a tight end in to slip him in the game, another H-back type body, and you run this, okay? Now, if you feel like it's a team, you can leave him out here, and this end is not going to squeeze on that down block, and he still may squeeze. If he squeezes real flat down the line, you got the double team in his way. He's going to have to come behind those guys' butts and get here, and it's going to be a race who gets to the point of attack first. Again, that's a game plan thing, okay? So you can do it either way. But now this changes your blocking. Notice there's no wrapper, okay? You're going to get that Mike linebacker with your H leading. It's an ISO. Right, but you're getting 2 double teams at the point of attack. And when my buddy and I talked about it, and I heard the guy on Run the Power, I couldn't help but think some college O-line guy was in, whoever came up with it, the first one to do it. And it was like a lot of stuff in football. It was several people came up with it, and they started, stacking on idea on top of idea and came up with it. Somewhere, somebody knew about Wes Elrod's doo-doo call. That's what I think. I really do. And because I'm one of those, I don't think there's anything new in football. Well, the pin and pull's not new. It's based off the buck. The I formation lead or ISO, that's not new. It's based off the old full house T lead and belly, whatever, and the wing T, weak belly, weak lead. There's nothing new. Okay, everything, people just tweak it and do their own thing out of it. And I think that, and I know that you're reading the linebacker, the back is reading the linebacker, but again, go back to what I've told y'all before. A lot of what I do is geared toward schools with limited resources as far as time and players. Small schools with 30 or 40 players, and only about half of those can play, if that many. You're blessed. If you got 30 or 40 on the team and you got 17 that can play, you're going to be playing in late November, maybe even in December. Okay, but we're when you have limited resources, limited numbers, that means you have limited time. Because remember now, you got to practice offense and defense every day. And so what I gathered from what I've heard on the talk about the duo scheme, it's pretty complicated. My buddy was telling me what they're going to do is pretty much just run duo and outside zone and like one more scheme. And this is a school that has nobody going both ways. So yeah, you're talking about a school with an offensive line that does nothing but play offensive line. And they are only going to run a handful of blocking schemes as far as running goes. I think he said they're going to run like outside zone, duo, not even run true inside zone. And I said, you're going to run power? And he said, no, we're going to run counter. I think we're going to run GT counter. Okay, so 3 blocking schemes. All right, they're going to be playing, 5A, 6A football. And nobody going both ways, at least on the offensive line. So they don't have limited time the way you would if you coached at a school with, 300 kids. Or it don't matter how many kids are in the school, how many kids are on the football team. I was talking to a guy the other day, had like 1,600 kids in the school, and he was hoping he'd get 50, 60 players out there. I'm thinking, holy cats, man. That's 6A in Alabama. And you're going to dress out 80 or 90 players and not have a soul going both ways. But it just depends on where you are. And if you're bound up by those constraints, then you have to figure out things you can do that aren't time expensive. And this is one of them. You teach the base of your play, how you're going to block one back power. And once the kids get it, then you start adding your tags to it. You tag it with this. You can call it deuce, double deuce. If you want to do what Elrod did, doo-doo. And Elrod's philosophy behind that is you give it you make something have potty humor. He said kids aren't going to forget it. They're not going to forget what a doo-doo is. I did this with a 9th grade football team years ago. I was in between gigs, and I was trying to find something near my children, and I found this job as a head 9th grade coach. And we couldn't throw a cat out of the house. And so as the year progressed, I knew people knew we were just going to be able to run the football. We had to figure things out. So all we would do is we'd run our power or our lead, we'd make a doo-doo call sometimes. And now we weren't going to block everybody, but we're going to get everybody blocked at the point of attack and give ourselves a chance to get 4 yards, break a tackle, and get more. But this is the doo-doo scheme, or the double deuce scheme, that Wes Elrod taught me. He's out of Tennessee. Old Herschel Moore disciple. The wing T guys watching this right now are probably going, hey, shout out to Herschel. And a lot of wing T guys, especially in the South and along the East, I know as far up as West Virginia, have been inspired by him. Now, you want to get a little bit cute with it. You still got your base blocking up front. This is versus an odd front, a 3-3. You're going to point of attack, double the nose. Okay, on this one here, we're going to just take our chances on the wheel right here. Okay, if he comes, getting caught up in traffic. All right, we're going to cut off right here. Now, what you could do is tell this tackle, you got B gap. So if the end goes out, he just climbs, because the end goes out. That means the wheel's coming in, and you let your tackle climb to the wheel. Okay, just tell him, hey, you got B gap. Kind of a, just old backside zone scheme kind of thing. All right, notice we're at a pistol on this. It's downhill. Those of you like it downhill, it's aim and point. Again, it's the heel, play side heel of the center, and the quarterback's going to get off the midline, so it's kind of a midline. And it's tighter in this, and again, remember, I'm bound up by my program trying to stack these lines in on top of each other. But he's going to hit it right in here, okay? The quarterback's going to read the D in. Now, your tackle is going to dip and rip and get up right in here and get that stack backer. Okay, maybe. I'll tell you what I'm talking about in a minute. Your H is going to come right here. Now, I like to teach him a whiff technique to pretend he's trying to kick the D in and see if that D in, it gets solid right there to take it on. All right, here comes power, and he's not squeezing so much because he's getting ready to, try to blow up that kick out block by the H. And the H is going to whiff, and he's going to turn up, and he's going to get that stack backer. Maybe. All right. Now, you wonder about the dotted lines. Here's what you do. All right, let's say the end squeezes. So the quarterback gets a pull read. He disconnects. So the quarterback disconnects and comes out here to keep it. All right. Now, we'll get to the pitch phase in a moment. All right. If he squeezed, then that backer is going to come right here. All right, so here's what we teach them. And this is after you've learned everything. I don't recommend putting this in day one. Teach them how to block the cockeyed thing base. All right. If that guy, the end squeezes, the backer comes out. So you teach that tackle, you dip and rip inside right here. Leave that end alone. We're reading him. If that backer runs away from you, don't chase him. You carry on to safety. Okay? If the DN runs upfield, quarterback's getting to give read. So he's going to give it. All right, so if he's reading cloudy clear, this backer right here, the end goes out, that means what? That backer's going to come in, and the tackle will get him. Now the H will go on to safety. Okay? So that's why I said it's a little complicated, and it's a little bit more moving parts to it, and I wouldn't do it until I've learned the base of what we're going to do. Now to the pitch phase, it's really an overhand throw, but it's the pitch phase of a triple option. It's power option. Okay, end squeezes, quarterback keeps, backer's coming out right here, H gets him, his eyes go. This is like triple option football, goes to the overhang player right here. If he runs with the Z on the bubble, quarterback keeps it. Okay, if he sits, he's going to play the quarterback flips out here, just right there. We've talked on other episodes, this Auburn does this a lot. That kind of pitch action. They don't necessarily do it off that kind of run action. They do it off their zone, or their backside read on the zone. But that's just a real neat way of putting something in once you've learned it already, and you got your line blocking it, and you can start tagging things, or you can just put another play in, and it's blocked the same. Again, you can add plays, and it's not going to mess up your lineman. You go in there and add your plays. Hey, guys, you block it just like so-and-so. No, okay, we're good, coach. And again, what I told you a while ago, backs are not going to frig it up if they got a chance to get the football. All right, you can mess around with the backs. And remember now, and this is something your Z already does on other plays. So he's not doing anything new. He's already doing this. Okay? So, you're kind of doing something a little different with this tackle and this H, but they're already doing that block on other plays. And see, that's what you have to do. You find ways to do things that are already in your player's toolbox, what you've established with them the first few weeks and during the summer, the things you've taught them how to do. Okay, and if you're like us and you wristband stuff, all they got to know, all right, play 12. All right, they don't know that it's this play or this play or this play. They just know, hey, I've done this before. I was taught this back in June, July, August. Now here it is October, and we've put a new little play in, but we ain't made the linemen do anything different. Okay? The linemen aren't doing anything different that they haven't done before. They may not have done it on that particular play, but they don't care. They just know what they do. Okay, so that's just a neat little way to do something different. It's off the one back power look or the A-gap power. All right, guys, that's it for episode 39 of Football Talk with Coach Chip. I really covet your comments. I really covet your suggestions. I was talking to a guy the other day in the comments section, and he was asking me, why are you doing so much passing stuff? I said, well, I just kind of get, I get in the groove and I'll do stuff. And I said, I listen to people that when they call and ask questions, or they write and ask questions, they comment with questions. And I'd already told another coach that the next episode after that last one would be, after the quick game, episode 38, would be on power football, because he wanted to know about my power scheme. And I've done a lot of stuff on power, and we're going to go back, I think episode 40, which would be the Gale Sayers episode, will be on blocking the power and different ways to block it. I shared with you today the deuce and the double deuce. But if you have any more comments or suggestions, hit me up. I got a new email address. The other one's still good, siegel.chip. But footballtalkwithcoachchip@gmail.com. And I did that because I was missing comments because they were getting mixed in with my not super private, but other things, like emails from the bank, or emails from this place, or emails from this, or emails from the school, and all kind of things like that. And I had to go in and try to find it, or email from a friend. And so this I was trying to dedicate, so everything on it will be Football Talk with Coach Chip emails. So be sure to do that with your comments. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. We're almost to 500 subscriptions right now. No, I don't need 4 more to get to 500. I want 504 more. I want 1,000. I want to get to 1,000, to the kilo subscription level. Okay, I want to have kilo subscribers. And so please like, subscribe, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, tell your coaching buddies about it, tell your hardcore football fan friends about it. Send me emails, Football Talk with Coach Chip, comment down below, and I do respond. It's one thing I've noticed some people on some of the Facebook pages saying things that say, hey, hit him up, he'll get back to you. Because guys, I tell you, I didn't start this for any other reason except to get folks to talk ball with me. And coaches that, I've got several young coaches that are breaking into it, trying to learn different things. I love it. Somebody did that for me. Not as many as I'd have liked, because I've had coaches that, that high-hatted me, big dogged on me, and when I was younger. And I'll never do that. I'll never do that. I'll never judge a coach, whether he's young, old, or whatever, for not knowing or for asking, because I was the same way. And as a matter of fact, I admire those that ask, because sometimes when I was younger, I didn't know things, and I didn't know them. And I've often wished I could go back with what I know now, with the energy I had then, and all that, and the youth of it. And I just admire all these young coaches that ask. I admire these young coaches that already know stuff. I'll look at them and go like, God, I wasn't near that good a football coach when I was their age. So don't forget our sponsors. You got Johnny's New York Style Pizza in historic downtown West Point, just 2 or 3 miles off I-85, right there on the banks of the Chattahoochee River. And Johnny Bucket's Podcast, wherever you get podcasts, that's Johnny Bucket's Podcast with Thrift Behringer. It's great football talk. I'm amazed at how those two young guys are able to come up with content in this time of Corona, time of COVID-19, when not much sports going on, but yet they're still interesting. I'm going to listen to them today when I get through talking to you guys, when I go for my run. And also don't forget Tammy Pierce Realty. If you're looking to buy property in the West Georgia area, give Tammy Pierce Realty a chance. One of her keys is people come back to her. I can't tell you how many times in just the 11 years I've known her, I said, hey, you've already sold a house to them, or you already sold a house for them, and they keep coming back. I think that's the best testimony to how good a real estate agent she really is. And you can find her at PineMountainGeorgiaLiving.com. If you're in the Pine Mountain area, all you got to do is stop and ask somebody, where's Miss Tammy's office? And y'all think I'm kidding. But in a town of 1,600 people with a lady that's lived here her entire life, they'll know who Miss Tammy is, and they'll point you right to her office in downtown, and probably can point you right to the house. And so, y'all, hang in there. In Georgia, we're starting on June 8th with restrictions. But hey, listen here. When you've been starving, you don't turn down beans. So I'm not judging or critical of any of it. Okay? So until next time, hey, y'all, be elite.